family, Cardinal Nation across the world, across the universe, across the interwebs. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Bae Area. I'm your host, Brandon Bailey. I have the pleasure, the distinguished honor of being joined by a wealth of wisdom, a wealth of knowledge, a wealth on wealth building, franchising, becoming glorious students as far as management and business is concerned. I'm joined by none other than Dr. Kathleen Gosser and Miss Nell Wadley of the University of Louisville College of Business.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you all for making time. Approaching the holiday season, weeks, days away from finals. So I know time is of the essence for everyone right now. So thank you all for being with us. So a little bit about yourselves, introducing yourselves to all of our viewers, all of our students that may have not yet matriculated through College of Business. Tell us what life was like before you were aligned with Louisville. We can start with Nell.
Oh, wow, great question. So for me, life was unstable. It was pretty not structured. I was just graduating with my master's in higher education leadership and social justice, and I thought I would magically have a job, but I went back to waiting tables. And then, lo and behold, Dr. Gosser came along, and I learned of this opportunity. And so since I've been here at the University of Louisville working at the Center for Global Franchise Excellence, my life has had a lot of purpose and direction and stability. So for that, I'm thankful.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That was awesome. So I had a very stable career, a long career at Young Brands. So I always say I had the career dreams were made of. So when I left college, I did a sales job for a year. It really wasn't for me. So then I started at KFC as a mystery shopper, all things. Traveled the country, went to 17 KFC restaurants a day, and wrote a little report about each one. I had a journalism degree, so I felt like I was using that. I was a reporter. Never dreamt that I'd end up there. They actually told me you'll be here for a year and a half or 2 years, and I was there 35. So I loved what I did there. I did a lot of things from starting as a mystery shopper up through customer satisfaction, through operations management, operations measurement, working with franchisees, but always worked with people and loved that. And my last 7 years were spent leading learning and organizational development, I just loved, as well as our KFC Foundation. So had a great amount of experiences, and I'm very, very thankful for that career.
Yeah, I think it's pretty magical how two very different, roles have aligned you all. I think that's an important lesson for students and non-students as well. Life isn't, straight. It's a lot of anything but linear.
That's right. That's right.
Times. So I think you've all exemplified that in just aligning years today. Yeah, that's magical. We didn't plan that. I didn't know that. I'm learning too. Undergraduate, you mentioned IU. What was that experience like, Dr. Gosser, and then we'll come to you.
So I did the traditional path out of high school straight into college. So I went to IU Bloomington, and I didn't know hardly anyone there. So I was from a small town and went to this big university, and I was studying journalism and business. And so I thought I was going to be a reporter, right? Yeah. So, this is going to be great. It was a top 3 school in journalism. I learned a ton. It was a wonderful experience. But it was tough when I graduated to get a job in journalism. And then, to be honest, they didn't pay enough to even be able to pay for an apartment.
Yeah.
So I have to be honest. You have to look at that, right? Okay, I've got to have a certain amount of, I'd have to live. So I worked in sales for about a year until I realized I didn't like it. But what I also realized is, just because I went to school for journalism and business, it's okay if your career isn't in that exactly. The skills I learned at the journalism school at IU have served me so well throughout my entire career. I mean, having to be able to write is extremely important, be able to formulate your thoughts quickly. And so I'm very grateful for that degree. But I always tell my students, you may end up doing something totally different. And you mentioned it. Life is not linear. You go all different ways, and you figure out what you like and what you don't.
Yeah.
But it will all work out.
Yeah, it always does.
And it did.
Yeah, big time. And your undergraduate experience, where'd you go? How was it?
Yeah, so I started college right out of high school at the University of Montebello in Alabama. I went to college because everyone else was going to college. I really didn't know what I was doing. And about 2.5, 3 years into it, I took a break, or as my husband said, I dropped out because I just never went back. And then when I was 30, I just decided the time was right for me to finish my degree. So I went to Bellarmine University, finished my undergrad when I was 31, went back to waiting tables and bartending, which is what I had done throughout my 20s. And that's how I kind of ended up in my master's program. And really it boiled down to a mentor asking me, I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And he's like, well, what did the little version of you want to do? What did the kid inside of you want to do? Because they still want to do it. And I was like, well, I always kind of had this dream of, sounds cheesy, but helping free people. And he said, okay, well, have you ever thought about education? Education frees people. And that's when I knew that there was this program out there for higher education, leadership, and social justice. And I went back to grad school. And it was actually, as we talk about life not being linear, it was this desire and this excitement about freedom that led me to Dr. Gosser and the Center for Global Franchise Excellence, being because I had to do a presentation when I was interviewing.
I have to interrupt her for a second because this is such a good story. So when I'd met Annie once, and so when I talked to her about the role, she's like, I don't know anything about franchising. I'm not even sure if I'm interested in that. Yeah. So then she had to do a presentation and listen to what she found.
So I had to do, thank you. So I had to do a presentation on where I saw this vision for the center in 5 years. And I was just trying to honestly find something that I could get behind, because when it came to franchising, I really didn't know anything about it. Like she said, okay, here we are. Well, I did the whole thing you're not supposed to do, which is go to the dictionary to be like, what's your dictionary says and defines. Yeah. But the truth is, I found out that the root word of franchising is freedom. And so it's when I could align myself with a mission and a vision that believed in helping others create generational wealth through a business structure that really modeled itself around freedom, financial freedom. I knew that all roads kind of came together and converged as they have today, with me combining my love for freedom in education, freedom in franchising. And I don't know, it just all kind of came together. So that was my undergraduate journey that brought me here.
Yeah. Freedom. Let freedom ring.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's ringing very loudly these days. And the College of Business is lucky to have both of you and your wealth of knowledge and embodied experience that we cannot quantify or get out of a textbook per se. So it's great that students can use you all and your history as resources. And there's a new wrinkle, a new resource in the College of Business. What's this Young Scholar thing about?
So I'll kick off, and I'm going to kick it to you. So several years ago, Yum actually provided a very generous endowment to start the Yum Center for Global Franchise Excellence. And the whole reason was we wanted to empower communities to build and sustain generational wealth through franchising. It's a form of entrepreneurship that really has been well documented, that people can be extremely successful. And Yum wanted to open access to many. So we started the center, which was really a dream come true. I'd been here 2 years, and then they're like, we want to do this. And I thought, how great is this? It was just wonderful. Well, we've done a couple of things in between, but they wanted to do something else. So last year, the leaders came to me and said, we want to do something else to talk about how much we believe in Kentucky and the students here, and how we can help incoming students really focus on franchising. And we want to help them financially, but then also with experiences. So we worked together to create a program called Young Scholars, and they provided a $1 million endowment in order to have these Young Scholars. And so we kicked it off this year, but Annie now is leading this charge now. And so I want her to talk about what she's created and where we're headed.
Yeah.
So with Young Scholars, essentially what it is we're going to have 5 new students every year coming up from the freshman class. So a full cohort would be 20. That would be freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. They're going to get $1,000 a semester, up to $8,000 to help pay for their college expenses. But they're also going to have opportunities in like servant leadership, experiential. That's the word I'm looking for.
Experiential learning, like with franchisees.
Yeah. Experiential learning with franchisees and different franchisors. They're also just going to have a way to build a cohort, which to me kind of really mirrors what the Center for Belonging, Access, and Engagement is all about. Having a place to feel like they belong and kind of like call home within this cohort. So it's really magical to see not just the money, which is important to help pay for their education, but the experience of leadership and different opportunities and the connection and networking that will be able to come together for them to make them feel like they have a place throughout their time here at U of L.
Yeah.
Case, you know, Brandon, what's interesting is I knew this money was coming about. We had a trip with several students. So we were at dinner one day, and I said, hey, if I were to get a lot of money, what would be a great type of scholarship? So they gave us all the ideas. They said, first of all, we want to be a part of the cohort, like the Connell Scholars, the Porter Scholars. Yeah. So we want to be part of a group. And then to give money ongoing is so important, because a lot of times you get money your freshman year, but then you're junior or senior, and you're flat broke. Yeah. You're like, okay, we could still use some. And this money obviously can be used for anything, school-wise. And so then they talked about wanting special opportunities. And so we took all that and created this program, and Yum has been just so generous in saying, yes, let's do all of that. So Annie now has combined them with a mentor who sits on our board of advisors. We have a wonderful board of advisors, a very incredible executives. Yeah. So they each have a mentor. She got jackets for them, you know, that kind of stuff.
Oh,
you got a swag, right? Gotta have some swag. And so
they need a collar to pop.
Yeah. And then we were talking about we're going to do special events. Some of them are community service. Yum does a Dare to Care community service. They'll be a part of that. I think we're going to do a clothing drive for students here. There's already a part of it. We're just going to tag on. Right. And then we're going to do some professional development. She and I will put on a couple of workshops, but then we're going to bring outside speakers in as well and do some field trips. So we're really excited. Our initial 10 that we chose this year are fantastic. We'll have 15 the following, and then we'll have 20 ongoing. So we're really excited about it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. See, this is why we want to highlight different people within our U of L community, because more people need to know about this. And be inspired to do similar things in different silos, and be aware that we have freedom fighters across campus, across platforms, and across industry. So,
and thank you. And the other really interesting part, you probably know the numbers, they're not just all College of Business students, so it's open to everyone. So I know that we have a
neuroscience,
yes,
psychology.
Wow.
We definitely do have some business students, social work, welfare. So it's students from across the campus that really...
And all they have to do is take one franchise class. So we have an undergraduate franchise certificate that's 4 classes online asynchronous. They just have to take one. My goal is they love it so much they do the whole certificate. Yeah. But it can count as an elective, which is cool too. So if you only have to take one, and then we want to pique their interest in franchising as well. We want them to understand this model is available, and it's not just restaurants. It's in so many disciplines. It's crazy.
So it sounds like in a few years, somebody's going to make a statue of these two on campus. That's what I'm hearing. An alum is going to graduate and say, yeah, I went through this program. I worked with Dr. Gosser and Eddie Nell, and I want to sponsor you all statue. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh my gosh.
I'll manifest that.
Yes. Yeah, we'll just put that out there. When it happens, just play the tape back. So going back to you all's time as college students, what is a lesson that still sticks with you today from a professor? Either one of you can jump in.
I've actually been thinking about this a lot. So there's 2 particularly that I'm going to mention by name, Dr. Michael Patton and Dr. Stephen Parker from the University of Montebello. Both of them taught me that A, I have inherent value, and B, it is okay for me to be who I am, but it's also okay for me to change and to give me the safe space to do so. And I would say those lessons that I learned at my first go around in undergraduate studies really changed me dramatically and gave me the catalyst for who I could be today. So it would be creating that safe space and validating who I was and what I brought to the table.
That's awesome. I have a positive and one that taught me what not to do, especially as a professor.
Yeah.
So the one that taught me not what to do, we'll start there. And I've told this story a number of times. I won't tell the full thing. I'll give the smaller version. It's basically, I had a professor who, there was a large class of us in PR. He was brilliant advertising guy. And there were 164 of us. I remember that. And he took 2 of us out, another guy and myself, out in the hallway and let us know that we were getting only A- because he had to give 2 A's, but we didn't deserve it. So I thought I wasn't capable. And I carried that with me. Well, the next semester, he actually called my dorm room to ask me why I wasn't in his second class, because I was his best student. But I said, but you told me I wasn't. And so what that taught me was, be careful with your words, because you can really affect people, and you can really affect their progression, especially at that young, vulnerable age.
Yes.
So that was actually a good lesson for me going forward as I became a leader in the corporate world and now a professor here at U of L. The other thing that I was taught all throughout my whole journalism class program was be curious. Continue to ask questions. Be more interested in the other person than yourself.
Yeah.
And that has served me well with networking, interviewing. People love to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
So that has definitely served me well. Plus, it's much more interesting. Like, I'd rather be asking you questions right now. Yeah. That's much more interesting than me talking. So both good lessons.
You do have an interesting thing I want to ask about. So you, a few years ago, I want to say it was 2017, you and some other researchers wrote an article discussing the importance of collaboration for both corporations and grassroots organizations for the greater good of the community. For our budding entrepreneurs, some student entrepreneurs already taking that step, what advice do you have for them to find good collaborators?
So collaboration is interesting. I teach a whole class on it, by the way. But collaboration takes time and practice, and it also takes the will that you want to collaborate with others. But there's a whole field of research that talks about multiple thinking, multiple minds together will result in a much better product or outcome than just one person. All that set aside, some people aren't willing to collaborate. So first of all, you have to be willing to collaborate. But what I have found is 99% of people are willing to do so, are willing to work with you. But you have to listen to the other ideas, and you have to think about, and how can their idea work and ours together?
Yeah.
If collaboration takes time, compromise doesn't, collaboration does. So being very intentional about it, choosing partners wisely, and really listening will get you to where you want to go. But I think collaboration, gosh, when I've collaborated with other professors, I have learned so much from them, way more than I can study. So I think collaboration is the key to a lot of things. And in the workplace, you have to collaborate.
Yes.
On teamwork, you really don't have, on teams, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you do, but you might not have a job.
Very true. I told y'all we had a wealth of knowledge and wisdom joining us today. You might want to run that one back. I'm sure it's going to, be the most listened to part of this, or at least one of them, when it hits the net, YouTube, etc. So we both serve students in our respective offices and buildings. We are literally about 200 yards away from structures, East Brandeis, the other side of East Brandeis. How can the Center for Belonging, Access, and Engagement strengthen partnership or opportunities with College of Business?
Wow. I wasn't prepared for that question.
Well, what is something that we're doing now that we can maybe do together to bolster our service to our students?
So, okay. I teach a Camp 100 class.
Yeah.
And there was a module about the Center for, do I just call you the Bae Center?
Yeah, Center for Bae.
Center for Bae. Okay. There was a module about the Center for Bae, which I found so helpful for our students. And I think strengthening that partnership with Camp 100 and the Center for Bae, seeing faces inside the classroom, taking a field trip here, I think that would be a better way that we can strengthen a partnership together so that when it's referenced, I can point to more than just a building or a website. I can show people and just create more of a interactive space for that introduction to the Center for Bae to happen with the freshman students.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great way that we could collaborate.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Every freshman student goes through that class.
Yes.
So that would be a great one. The other thing I think would help faculty would be to have you come speak at our faculty and staff meeting and tell us about Bae.
Absolutely.
And what you offer and what students could gain from being a part of this. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah. We can make both of those happen.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I think I was very impressed as I did go on the website and I looked at all of the programs that you all offer, how I wish that each of those programs, modules, talks could happen within this controlled environment that I had, because then I could force students to learn about what it looks like to be a leader if you don't have a title.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I saw. I thought that was amazing. So all of your services and offerings are just, I think I'm just so impressed because you really seem to be hitting the nail on the head as far as what this generation is longing for and needs to be more comfortable being themselves or be more comfortable growing into a version of themselves that they want to be.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited I'm just going to claim it.
Yeah.
We're going to partner more in the future with
are.
Camp 100 and Bae for sure.
We are.
Yeah.
It shall be. You're still giving great advice as you did during your bartending career. I'm going to assume
I'm
that you
sure
did
of that.
because all my bartender friends give great advice.
I was a counselor once or twice, yeah.
There you go. And so that's one of those soft skills that translates. Dr. Goss, I heard you mention the term before, encore career.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough to get to an encore without doing some extremely exceptional things in that first act. So I just want to salute you and communicate to others that the so-called non-traditional route is still a route,
That's right.
Yes.
right? The
That's
victory
right.
is still a victory.
That's right.
And the finish line or the freedom line is still in view. So I want to
Definitely.
highlight that.
Something I've learned is failure used to always have a capital F for me, where it was end of the road. And I'm realizing it's just lowercase.
Yeah.
You're still moving forward.
Yeah.
And so, well,
Yeah,
move forward to here. So here we go.
I love that.
Me too. That's awesome.
I love that. Queens, thank you for your time today. I have one final question that both of you can answer. If there was just one person within our U of L family, our University of Louisville universe, that we could have in these hot seats on the Bay Area, who would you like us to have?
Oh, I've got one for you.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've met Dr. Nat Irvin.
Yes,
He's a futurist.
he is.
And he'd be a tough interview.
I would love
Because
it.
he is fantastic, and he has actually mentored me during my time here.
Yeah.
And taught me more than you can imagine.
Yeah.
But the impact he has on our students, and he, like me, believes that our future's in beautiful hands with the students we have. Our students are fabulous. And I tell everyone that. I'm like, I don't want to hear anyone talk about this generation because they're great.
Yeah.
And Dr. Irvin feels the same. He's who I would put here.
Dr. Irvin, I'm coming your way, brother. I'm coming your way. One email away. We got a thread going already. Anybody comes to your mind?
Yeah, a whole group of people come to my mind. I just want to give a shout out to the academic advisors over at the College of Business. Any of them you would be lucky to have in your chair. Their passion and their love and their care for students is unmatched. And I think they're all quite fascinating as well. So I would, any of the academic advisors.
And that starts with Dr. Raymond Green
Yes.
and his group. Yes, and Renee Shutt. They do a great
They do a great job.
job.
Yeah, a long career of mentorship between those two and working around and inside of education
That's
as
right.
well. So
That's right.
I'm not
That's
surprised to
right.
hear those names.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for your
Thank
time
you.
today.
Thank
and
you.
all
Thank
that
you.
you all
So
are
nice to be
doing
here.
and going to continue to do.
You too. Thank you for doing this and hosting us.
Absolutely. You know, I'm working on my late night, audition one of these days.
I'll
Nobody
write
gets
that
to see
letter.
forever.
I'll write you a recommendation letter on that one.
Thank you. I'll go out and put on ties every day. If I could do that every night, I would love to. Carson, Leno, everybody else. So Brandon Baker.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And I have y'all on.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
I will be there.
Have y'all on. We'll have Chris. We'll have Corey. Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. Thank you, friends, family, Card Nation, for joining us on this edition of the Bay Area. Stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share because wealth of knowledge that needs to get everywhere. I wasn't trying to rhyme, but I just did that time. We'll see you again. Peace.
It was awesome.
Okay, that was awesome. You have a good